First contact deception. Captain Maya Chen stared at the vast emptiness of space through the main viewport of the horizon, a medium-sized exploration vessel on its final survey mission before returning to Earth. After 6 months mapping the outer reaches of the Epsilon Eridani system, her crew of 23 was eager to head home. "Captain, I'm picking up something unusual," Lieutenant Raj Patel called from the sensor station. "There's a signal coming from the asteroid field. Faint, but definitely artificial." Chen frowned. "Human origin." "Negative. The pattern doesn't match any known human transmission protocol. It's alien." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Despite 50 years of space exploration, humanity had yet to encounter intelligent extraterrestrial life. Until now. "How far?" Chen asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "About 2 million kilometers, ma'am. We could reach it in 6 hours at standard cruise." Chen didn't hesitate. "Helm. Set course. Communications, send an encrypted message to Earth Command. Advise them we're investigating a potential first contact scenario." As the horizon altered course, Chen gathered her senior officers in the conference room. "This is what we trained for," she reminded them. "We follow first contact protocols to the letter. No assumptions, no aggressive moves." Commander Eliza Wright, her XO, nodded. "The signal's been broadcasting for at least 300 years based on decay patterns. Whatever sent it might not even exist anymore. Or they might be waiting for someone to answer," Chen replied. 6 hours later, the horizon approached a massive asteroid surrounded by smaller fragments of rock and metal. Embedded in the largest asteroid was a structure clearly not formed by natural processes, a metallic spire reaching toward the stars. "It's some kind of beacon," Science Officer Takumi Nakamura said, studying his readings. "Still operational after centuries." Before Chen could respond, Lieutenant Patel's console lit up with alerts. "Captain, multiple vessels approaching at high speed." 3 sleek, silver ships appeared seemingly from nowhere, surrounding the horizon in a perfect triangular formation. Each was at least 5 times the size of the human vessel, with smooth, curved hulls that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. "No weapons signatures detected," Tactical Officer Garcia reported. "But they've locked some kind of tractor beam on us. We're held in place." Chen straightened her uniform. "Open a channel across all frequencies. Let's introduce ourselves." The main screen flickered, revealing a humanoid figure with pale blue skin, elongated features, and eyes so dark they appeared as bottomless pools. When it spoke, the ship's translator worked to interpret. "I am Supreme Commander Zorax of the Valkyrie Dominion. You have entered sovereign Valkyrie space. Identify yourselves." Chen stepped forward. "I am Captain Maya Chen of the Earth vessel Horizon. We are on a peaceful exploration mission and detected your beacon. We had no knowledge this territory was claimed." The alien's expression shifted subtly. "Earth, the 3rd planet of the Sol system. We have observed your kind for some time. Primitive, but persistent." Chen felt a chill at the casual dismissal. "We seek peaceful contact with all species. We apologize for the intrusion." "Your apology is noted," Zorax replied. "Your vessel will be scanned, and then you will be escorted to the edge of our territory. Further incursions will not be tolerated." As the scan proceeded, Science Officer Nakamura discreetly signaled Chen. On his private screen was a detailed analysis of the Valkyrie ships. "Captain," he whispered, "their technology is far advanced, but it operates on principles we theorized. Quantum displacement drives, photonic shielding. We understand the concepts, just haven't developed them yet." Chen nodded slightly, keeping her expression neutral as the scan completed. "You may leave," Zorax announced. "Remember this encounter, Captain Chen. The Valkyrie tolerate your exploration only because you pose no threat. The galaxy has order, and your species is near the bottom." The screen went dark, and the tractor beam released. Under escort, the Horizon retreated from Valkyrie space. 2 months later, back on Earth, Captain Chen sat in a high-security conference room deep beneath the United Nations Space Command headquarters in Geneva. Around the table sat the highest-ranking military and scientific leaders of the planet. The Valkyrie's dismissal of humanity might be our greatest advantage, Admiral Hassan said. They clearly don't see us as worthy of concern. Dr. Elena Sokolov, Earth's leading quantum physicist, nodded in agreement. The data Captain Chen's crew gathered is invaluable. The Valkyrie use a form of quantum entanglement we've been researching for decades. Their technology is advanced, but not incomprehensible. How long would it take to develop comparable capabilities? Asked the UN Secretary-General. Dr. Sokolov exchanged glances with her colleagues. With global cooperation and resources, 5 years for the basics, 10 for practical implementation. We may not have that long, Chen interjected, sliding a data tablet forward. We've been monitoring Valkyrie communications since returning. Their linguistic patterns suggest preparation for expansion. I believe they're planning to move into our sector within 2 years. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Admiral Hassan finally broke the silence. Then we have no choice. Project Phantom needs to be accelerated. 6 months later, Chen found herself standing in an enormous construction bay, hidden within the asteroid belt of Sol. Before her floated a ship unlike any humanity had built before, sleek and dark, with none of the usual external components visible on Earth vessels. It appeared almost organic, its hull absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Beautiful, isn't she? Dr. Sokolov said, joining Chen at the observation window. We're calling her the Defiance. How much of it is based on Valkyrie technology? Chen asked. About 60% is our interpretation of their quantum principles. The rest is pure human innovation. Sokolov smiled. The Valkyrie rely entirely on their advanced technology. They've become inflexible. We've designed systems they'd never consider. Over the next year, Earth prepared in secret. The Defiance was joined by 6 sister ships, each incorporating improvements based on test results. Meanwhile, diplomatic channels were established with the Valkyrie, who continued to treat humans with barely concealed disdain. 18 months after first contact, a Valkyrie diplomatic vessel arrived at Earth to deliver terms. The massive ship took position above the United Nations headquarters, a clear display of power. Supreme Commander Zorax, now designated as ambassador, addressed the UN General Assembly. The Valkyrie Dominion will be expanding into your sector. As a gesture of goodwill, we offer protection in exchange for resources and certain territorial concessions. The terms were effectively colonization by another name. Earth would retain nominal independence while being stripped of its resources and restricted from further space exploration. The Secretary-General responded with apparent humility. Earth thanks the Valkyrie for their generous offer. We request 6 months to prepare our worlds for your arrival. Zorax's expression showed satisfaction at humanity's submission. Granted, we are pleased by your wisdom in accepting your place in the Galactic Order. As the Valkyrie ship departed, Captain Chen received new orders. She would command the Defiance on its maiden voyage, a mission that would determine the future of humanity. Humanity's Gambit. 5 months after Earth's apparent submission to Valkyrie demands, Captain Maya Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiance. Hidden in the shadow of Jupiter's moon Callisto, the experimental warship and its 6 sister vessels waited in perfect electronic silence. Status report, Chen ordered, her voice calm despite the weight of responsibility. Commander Wright, who had followed Chen from the horizon, checked her displays. All systems nominal. Quantum shields at full capacity. Displacement drive ready for activation. Chen nodded. And the fleet? In position throughout the system. Earth Defense Force vessels are maintaining standard patrol patterns as ordered. The Valkyrie will see exactly what they expect to see, a primitive fleet preparing to welcome their new overlords. Earth's strategy was simple but dangerous. When the Valkyrie arrived, they would find a compliant planet ready for harvesting. Only when their forces were fully committed would the trap be sprung. The Valkyrie advance fleet has entered the system, Tactical Officer Garcia announced. 15 vessels, matching configuration to their military escorts from our first encounter, plus 3 larger ships, likely troop transports. Chen straightened her uniform. Right on schedule. All hands to battle stations. Maintain cloak until my command. The Valkyrie fleet moved with confidence toward Earth, completely unaware of the hidden vessels tracking their approach. Their communications, easily intercepted and decoded thanks to the data gathered during first contact, revealed their contempt. Pathetic humans, one Valkyrie commander said to another. They surrender their world without even token resistance. Supreme Commander Zorax was right. They deserve subjugation. As the alien fleet established orbit around Earth, a small delegation of Valkyrie officials descended to the surface to oversee the formal surrender ceremony at the United Nations. Supreme Commander Zorax himself led the delegation, eager to witness humanity's submission. On the Defiance, Chen watched the proceedings through a secure feed. The Secretary-General welcomed the Valkyrie with appropriate deference, while subtly signaling readiness to Chen with a prearranged phrase. Earth embraces its destiny among the stars. That's our cue, Chen said. Displacement drive active. Bring us into position. The Defiance and its sister ships vanished from their hiding places, their quantum displacement drives bending space in a way the Valkyrie believed humans couldn't possibly understand. In an instant, the 7 vessels appeared directly among the unsuspecting Valkyrie fleet. All ships, weapons free, Chen ordered. Target their propulsion and communication systems first. The Defiance's main weapons, a hybrid of Valkyrie principles and human ingenuity, fired with precision. Beams of concentrated quantum particles struck the nearest Valkyrie cruiser, passing through its shields as if they weren't there. On the planet below, Zorax received an urgent communication from his fleet. Supreme Commander, we are under attack. The humans have ships with advanced technology. Our shields are ineffective. Zorax's face contorted with disbelief. Impossible. They are primitives. Back in space, the battle unfolded with shocking speed. The Valkyrie, caught completely off guard, struggled to mount an effective defense. 3 of their vessels were disabled in the opening salvo, their propulsion systems severed by the Defiance's weapons. They're adapting, Garcia warned as the remaining Valkyrie ships began to maneuver, adjusting their shield frequencies. Chen had anticipated this. Execute Pattern Omega. Deploy the drones. From the Defiance's launch bays, hundreds of small, unmanned craft swarmed toward the Valkyrie vessels. These drones, purely human in design, carried no advanced weapons, just simple kinetic projectiles and electronic warfare packages. The Valkyrie, focused on defending against the perceived primary threat of the 7 advanced warships, paid little attention to the swarm until it was too late. The drones attached themselves to the hulls of the alien vessels, boring through external armor to disrupt critical systems from within. The rest of the Earth fleet is moving into position, Wright reported. All ships reporting ready. Chen nodded. Tell them to engage. Across the Sol system, the supposedly primitive human defense fleet sprang into action. Though lacking the advanced technology of the Defiance and its sisters, these vessels had been specially modified for this moment. They attacked from all directions, overwhelming the Valkyrie with sheer numbers and unexpected tactics. On the main Valkyrie command ship, chaos reigned. How is this possible? Demanded the fleet commander. Their technology was assessed as at least a century behind ours. Zorax, now being detained by UN security forces on Earth, had no answer. The battle reached its climax when the Defiance engaged the Valkyrie flagship. The alien vessel, 3 times the size of Chen's ship, unleashed its full arsenal in desperation. Quantum shields holding at 70%, Wright reported as the ship shuddered under the assault. Their weapons are powerful, but predictable. Take us closer, Chen ordered. Prepare the phase disruptors. The Defiance dove toward the Valkyrie flagship, weaving through enemy fire with impossible agility. At point-blank range, Chen gave the command, "Fire." The phase disruptors, weapons designed specifically to exploit a fundamental weakness in Valkyrie technology, struck the alien vessel at precisely calculated points. The flagship's systems cascade failed, leaving it dead in space. Within hours, the remaining Valkyrie vessels surrendered or were disabled. Not a single human ship was destroyed, though many sustained damage. As Chen accepted the formal surrender of the Valkyrie fleet commander aboard the Defiance, she couldn't help but ask the question that had been on her mind since first contact. "Why did you underestimate us so badly?" The Valkyrie commander, his pride visibly wounded, answered reluctantly. "Your species' development pattern was unusual. You progress in erratic bursts rather than the steady advancement of most species. Our analysts believed you were in a stagnation phase." Chen smiled slightly. "A mistake you won't make again." 1 month later, Captain Chen stood before the United Nations as a hero. The Valkyrie Dominion, having lost their invasion fleet and supreme commander, had been forced to negotiate a proper treaty with Earth as equals. "The Defiance project succeeded beyond our expectations," she told the Assembly. "But our greatest advantage wasn't the technology we adapted from the Valkyrie. It was something uniquely human, our capacity to innovate, to think differently, and to turn adversity into opportunity." The Secretary General nodded in agreement. "The Valkyrie and other species will now think twice before dismissing humanity. We have earned our place among the stars not through conquest, but by defending our right to exist freely." As Chen concluded her address, reports were already coming in from deep space. Other species, long dominated by the Valkyrie, were reaching out to Earth, seeking alliances with the civilization that had accomplished what was thought impossible. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage not as conquerors, not as the conquered, but as liberators and innovators. The warship that shouldn't have existed had changed everything. And as Captain Chen looked toward the stars that night, she knew this was just the beginning of humanity's journey.